Boker Tov, everybody. Doing like as far as the reading, I mean, I hope you get a chance to practice at home, because the only way to get better is to practice, so you need to find some time. And it doesn't have to be a very, very long time. It could be even 5 minutes a day. It really doesn't have to be a very long time. Or if you cannot do it every day, maybe twice a week for about 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And that should actually, and you can even read the same pages that we read in class. And of course, if you go to YouTube, there's lots and lots and lots of things that if you want to practice. So I just encourage you to practice as much as you can. I know that our focus is mainly, the focus in here is not conversational Hebrew, but it's more like the reading and also how to practice for prayers, because I'm going to do a combination eventually too. So it's more of the religious aspect of the language and not necessarily the conversational Hebrew. So do you have any questions about anything that we went over the last few times? Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so what we're going to go over right now, and then I do want to talk about it. Remember that in this book, the great thing about it is that it does have the root, right? And if you know the root of a word, then it makes it easier for you to know more or less what the meaning of the words. I mean, like if you look at the prayer in the future, when you're going to look at the prayer and you're going to look at the root, you kind of understand what the prayer is about. So today we're going to look at this root, which is the Alef Hey Vet. And the Alef Hey Vet means love. That's the meaning of the root. Now, in the prayer book, we see this word, this verb a lot.
And we know the page, pardon, Dina, I cut you, but what page?
It's 39.
Thank you.
I think it is page 39. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it's page 39.
Thank you.
Sure. And when we talk about this verb, ohev, ahav, and all of that, it has to do with God's love for us. We talk about God's love. And also, in return, we're supposed to love God too, with all our heart, with all our might, with all our soul. So it is a very common verb that you will see in a lot of our prayers, okay, when we talk about love. So the first word is, Jim, read the first word. What is it?
Sorry, ahava.
Which is love. So that's the noun, love, ahava. Now, when we say the kiddush, which is the blessing over the wine, we say be'ahava, with love. So you would hear that word a lot, be'ahava. The next word, Martine.
Just, I cannot find the page. It's not 39, but next one will be aha be cha nu habetanu.
Yeah. When in Hebrew is built on prefixes and suffixes, okay? So think about it, that this one word, ahavtanu, means you have loved us. So the new, which is the suffix at the end of a word, whenever you will see the new, it means we, us, or our. So I know that you hear the word Eloheinu. Have you heard that word, Eloheinu? Our God. Avotenu, our fathers. So you will see a lot the new. Now, the ta, it means you, the ta. The ta means you. So you can see that just one letter and a vowel basically has all that meaning. Hebrew has, they say it that it's a kind of like an economical language, or they call it economy of language. I don't know if you know what I mean. We use a lot less words to say one thing. See what I'm saying? A lot less words. The last word is the Philip.
Vahavachta.
Ve'ahavta.
Vehafta.
And ve'ahavta means and you shall love. So the ve, remember I told you it's built on suffixes and prefixes. So the prefix ve means end. And the suffix ta means you. And you shall love. Okay? So the shoresh, which is the root, shoresh means root. Alef hey vet means love or affection. So I want to talk about these blessings. Ahavato Love, which means eternal love. I'm going to show you the PowerPoint that I have about that. It's a prayer that follows the Baruch Hu in the evening service. It speaks of the loving relationship between God and the people of Israel, and the mitzvot from God that manifest that love. And Ahava Rabba means much love. Again, it's the same thing. It follows the Baruch Hu. And it also speaks about the loving relationship between God and Israel. And basically, it has to do with the Torah. It's the marriage between us and God. So I want to talk about it a little bit. Oh, it's page 33. Thank you. Because I guess my pages are different because I have the electronic file with me. So I want you to look at this, actually. And I'll explain. So the first one that I want to look at is the word the ve'ahavta, and you shall love, ve'ahavta. And I don't know if you'll be able to read all of this yet, because we obviously have not learned all the letters and all the vowels. But one thing that I do want to show you, because we're going to probably look at it in the later on, it's this one right here, which is the final chaf, and it means cha. So ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha. So what this means is that you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. This is from the book of Deuteronomy, and we're commanded to love God with all our heart. Now, and the continuation of the prayer, it says, and these words or these things that I command you today should be on your heart, and you should teach them to your children. And I always tell my little kids that the reason why they come to Hebrew school is because their parents are commanded from God. So their parents don't even have a choice. I mean, it's kind of like a choice. I mean, a joke, right? I tell them that the parents are commanded from God to teach it to their children, and that's why they send them to Hebrew school, right? Even though they don't really, when you're a kid, you don't understand why you have to do it. But when you say, well, we're commanded from God to teach this. And so we're supposed to teach it to our children. Now, the word veshinantam in Hebrew, it's deeper than just teaching. It's basically rehearsing and repeating and reiterating. That's what it really means. So we have to reiterate our love for God over and over and over and over again. We have to speak about it when we are at home, when we are on our way, when we lie down, when we wake up. And now, these are the things that we talked about before that comes actually directly from this prayer. You should bind it on your hands and between your eyes. So what is it that we bind on our hands and between our eyes? What did we say that was? Remember?
The tefillin.
And then we have to write them on the mezuzot of our house. So in the mezuzah, you know that scroll that is in the mezuzah, this one, the V'ahavta. Now, before we begin the V'ahavta, the beginning of it is Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, which means hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one, right? And then the V'ahavta goes into it. And then the scribe, remember we talked about the scribe. Did I talk to you about the scribe? The scribe will actually use the scroll, and the scroll is made out of kosher animal skin, and the scribe will do it by a quill pen and black ink, and will do it by hand. It's kind of very similar to calligraphy. And when, so a mezuzah, a kosher mezuzah, is basically that scroll. It's not what, I mean, we put it in the house, you know, what you see on the outer part is the house to protect it. But in actuality, you don't have to have anything on the outer part. You can just take the scroll if you want to and put tape and put it on the door, but then it will not be protected. You know, it may fly, it may come off, and that's why you do the mezuzah to protect it. Okay, so this is the V'ahavta. Then we have another one, and it's another prayer, which is called Ahava Rabbah. But this is actually much love, a great love, that God loves us. This is talking about the way God loving us. And the way God loves us is by giving us the Torah. Talmud, remember we talked about Talmud? The learning and the teaching of the Torah. And look at this word right here, because I think Jim read it, Be'ahava, with love. God gave us the Torah because of his love. And you know, we talk about God as being our Father. So, and we, in this kind of like prayer, we say that God taught us the laws of life and the rules, and we have to obey. And and if you think about it, and again, that's what I tell my little kids in Hebrew school. I say, look, your parents give you rules. We may not like all the rules, right? We do not like the rules, but your parents give you rules because they love you. It has to do with love. When we kind of give children boundaries and rules, it's out of love. It's not out of like, hey, you cannot do this, or you're not, it's out of love. These are the boundaries. So God, and this is actually a really great prayer to understand the meaning of it, because then we understand the connection with God and why God gave us the Torah. Why it is so important for us, because remember, the Torah as Jewish people gives us the way of life. It tells us how to behave. It tells us what we can or cannot do. It tells us how to maintain our bodies, our souls, you know, and if we follow the Torah, I mean, obviously our life will be better, obviously, right? And so that's what we call it, great love. This is God giving us the Torah, is God showing love to us. Okay. The next one is called Ahavato Love, and it has the same principle. It has exactly the same principle as the previous one. And it actually encompasses both the V'ahavta and the Ahava Rabbah, because in this one, it talks about God's love for us, but it also talks about our love to God. So that connection and relationship that we need to have. And the thing that basically creates that connection is the laws that God gave us in the Torah. That's really the connection between us and God. So what this, I'm going to, you will see in here, it says, Ahavato Love, Beth Israel, Amcha Ahavta. I mean, I know that you may not be able to read, but I'm just going to, eternal love. God has an eternal love to the house of Israel, his people. You loved us. Torah u'mitzvot, Torah and commandments. You taught us Torah, commandments, laws, and rules. That is why God, our God, when we lie down and when we wake up, we have to talk about your rules and laws. So God gave us this love by giving us the Torah and the commandments, and then our part in it is that we have to talk about it, we have to learn it, we have to study it, we have to teach it. That's our part in all of this. And not all, so when we lie down and when we wake up, so at every single moment of our day, and we're supposed to rejoice in the words of the Talmud and your commandments forever, because this is our life. And basically, not just our life, but we have to do it for the length of our life, for longevity. And God, we're requesting it, we are requesting that God will never remove his love from us. And then we say, we bless God. This is a blessing for loving his people, Israel. So I want to talk to you about another concept that sometimes repeats itself. And I wanted you to think about it, because I know that sometimes a lot of, let's say, people say, oh, you're the chosen people. And we sometimes have to justify maybe the idea that we're the chosen people because maybe we're superior or whatever, but it's not about that, actually. We talk about God loving his people, Israel, or God choosing us, the idea of being superior, but actually in the idea of giving us the Torah. And for us, God chose us to give us the Torah for us to study and learn and teach. That's what it is all about, and to lead by example. Because the moment I fulfill the commandments, I am leading by example. I'm treating people, animals, the land, whatever it is, my body, my soul, in a way that is healthy, or in a way that protects me. Because remember, it shows God's love for me. God created these laws not to make my life difficult or miserable, but basically to protect me, okay, or out of his love. And that's what I wanted. So the reason why I'm looking at this root and I'm talking about these prayers is because you will see that word, this root a lot, because we talk about God's love for us and basically our love to God. We're commanded to love God. Okay, any questions about that? Now, when we finish all the letters and all of that, we're actually going to practice how to read these prayers and blessings. All right, any questions about anything that I talked about today? I just wanted to give you kind of like an idea of, so when we look at our prayers, and you know, when you look at the translation sometimes from Hebrew to English, there is the literal translation, but actually the Hebrew words sometimes have deeper meaning, because a root in Hebrew can mean many, many things. You know, the word, let's say, Vishinantam levanecha, you might look at it at that word, when you look at the literal translation, will be, and you should teach it to your children. So you're thinking it's just about teaching, but actually that word, Veshinantam, is not just about teaching. It's about repetition, it's about reiterating, it's about doing it over and over and over and over again. And again, if you think about teaching, teaching is repetitive. It's not a one thing that you do one time and that's it, you're done. Everything that you teach or you learn, it takes forever, right? Practice, anything. Nobody's ever done learning, right? Or teaching. Never. We're never done learning or teaching. So that word, Veshinantam, yeah, you translate it to learning or teaching, but in actuality, in Hebrew, it has a deeper meaning to it. So, all right. Any questions or anything that anybody wants to add? The other thing, the other grammatical thing that I want you to look at, and before we move into that, and I know that this is the famous one, love your neighbor as yourself, Ve'ahavta le'reacha kamocha. This was actually, there is a story, and I don't know if you've heard it before or not. I don't know if you've heard of Rabbi Akiva. Anybody has heard of Rabbi Akiva? Okay, so Rabbi Akiva during the Romans, so that was AD. That when the Roman Empire was in Israel, it was like the second temple was destroyed at 70 AD. Okay, so a lot of the rabbis were persecuted, obviously, by the Romans, right? So there was this famous rabbi, Rabbi Akiva, and he actually had to hide from the Romans and all of that, but he became one of the greatest rabbis because he went into caves and he hid from the Romans, but then he had all these followers, all these students that he had. And one day, a guy went to him and he said, Rabbi, teach me the entire Torah on one leg or one foot. And he said, the entire Torah is Ve'ahavta le'reacha kamocha. Love your neighbor as yourself, and you should love your friend. You should love your friend as yourself. You should care. So that, and he said, and that is the entire Torah. That is the entire Torah. Now, my take on it, and that's from a psychological point of view, has nothing to do with it. I think that the issue why people do not treat people well enough is because they do not love themselves and they don't treat themselves very well. So they do not treat themselves very well, and they don't treat others very well. That's my that's my interpretation. I say, how can I, if I do not love myself and I do not treat myself well, how would I treat somebody else well? And I think that's really the entire issue, but that's something else. It has nothing to do with it. That's just, okay. The other thing that you need to
agree, Dina. Pardon.
Yeah.
I was seconding you. I agree.
Yeah. Thank you. So when we talk about the Hebrew grammar, we have masculine and feminine. In English, we don't have masculine and feminine. When I say I love, you love, we love, it's all the same, right? Except for he loves or she loves, right? But in Hebrew, I love, when I'm masculine, I would say ani ohev. And feminine would say ani ohevet. So there is also patterns. You can see that it is the same, all of these words have the same patterns. But we'll get to that later on. I don't think that that's something that you must understand right now. And I don't want to spend more time on that because I think we should spend more time on reading. Anything else?
Just one stop then, because all we see, the difference will be that we have a taf on the feminine form, one letter, and that's about it. So
and also the vowels change. You see the vowels, they change. So
yeah.
ohev and ohevet, shomer and shomeret, lomed and lomedet,
Oh yeah, so okay. So the last consonant is the same, but the one before might be different.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so last time I think we started, so far, these are the letters, Lamed Mem, the final Mem, we learned the final Mem, Nun, the final Nun, the Resh, the Shin, the Tav, and these are the vowels. Remember the A, O, E, that is silent, A, E, and E. So these are the new letters. I think we kind of start talking about it. So this was the Vav, the Tet, and the Ain. And remember that I told you, I think I did talk to you about it last time, that the Tav and the Tet, it's a T sound, right? It's a T sound. However, there is a difference between Ashkenazi Jews and Sephardic Jews when they read the Torah. Okay, so the Ashkenazi Jews refer to the Tet as T. When they see it, they refer to it as T. The Sephardic Jews refer to it as Ta. You know, it's more guttural, Ta. So when you're going to hear their chanting, when you hear the chanting of a Sephardic Jew versus, so Cantor Melissa, she will refer to this as Ta. That's how she would read it. But if you go to a Sephardic synagogue, and Martine, probably, I don't know if you heard that chanting, is more like Ta. It's more guttural. The Ain and the Alef, the same kind of thing. Alef is more just regular The Ain is guttural. It goes all the way back there. Now, most Israelis, when they speak, and even I cannot do that, I refer to the Tet as T, and the Ain is I don't go too much into the It's too hard to do it. I don't say Ain, I say Ain. You see what I'm saying? I cannot go all the way back there. It's too difficult. I don't say, when I say Boker Tov, it's Boker Tov. Boker Tov. I don't say Boker Tov. You know, I don't talk like this. It's too hard. So I don't do that. All right.
I am assuming the Sephardic Jews, being the Spanish descent, I mean, it's simplify. They have already, the sound, the guttural sound for the Spanish aspect of it. So the guttural sound for them would be easier. So it really goes through that.
Yep. Very, very true. Now, have we read this with the Vav or we haven't? Have we read that? Okay. So how about, so first of all, just remember that the Vet and the Vav are the same. Vet and Vav are the same. Okay. All right. Courtney, are you there? I thought I saw you.
I'm here.
Do you mind reading line 1?
Sure. I'm still a little rusty on vowels, but I will do my best.
Yes. Okay, that's fine. Actually, let me talk. Can I talk about that one first?
Please.
Is
Yes.
that all right? Okay, so this vowel, when it is at the beginning of a word, especially with the Vav, it will always be ve.
Okay.
Always ve. Now, however, this is called shva. This vowel is shva. The shva has 2 rules to it. So if you look at this one, when it is at the beginning of a word, it will be ve. So look at line 3. This would be what? How would I read this one right here in line 3? Everybody, what would that be? Ve. This is ve. And also this one is ve. And this one is also ve. And this one is also ve. However, the shva in the middle of a word, like over here, it will be silent. So at the beginning of a word, it's like an eh. Okay. But over here in the middle of a word, then the shva is silent. So over here, it will be, you know how we would read this?
Veshitav.
No, vash,
Vash.
E.
Shita.
vashti,
Vashti.
vashti, vashti. Because then this will be silent, vashti. Now, do you know who Vashti was?
No.
Does anybody know who Vashti was? Okay.
It was the- oh, I think I know.
Okay, go ahead.
She was the queen who preceded Esther, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So during the holiday of Purim, we read the scroll of Esther, and the king of Persia had a queen by the name of Vashti. And when he requested her presence in the banquet and she refused, she was banished, and then Esther became the new queen. That was her name, Vashti, Queen Vashti. Now, you know that in Iran, I know it's not related to reading. I'm just giving you all, I'm throwing all these random facts at you. You know that in Iran, till today, in Isfahan, the graves of Esther and Mordecai are still there. If you do actually a search, you will find their graves already there in Isfahan, in Iran.
And,
Because, yeah, go ahead, Philip.
and does the word, I'm guessing from the picture, does it mean doll or?
No, they're just kind of trying to make it look like the queen, Queen Vashti.
Okay, thank you.
She was the queen. Okay.
I want to ask about the ve. If it's at the beginning of the words, like I see a lot of them here, is that a preposition?
So it is the prefix that means end.
I mean prefix, pardon. And yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, prefix that means end.
Okay.
And you shall love, and you. Like this word right here, Torah and Torah.
Okay,
And
pardon.
it means end. End.
Yeah, correct.
That's that. You're right. You do see it a lot, especially in prayers. When God gives us things to do, he always says, and do this, and. There's a lot of okay, so Corny, could you read line 1, please?
Sure. Va,
No, ve.
ve, vo,
So the one dot will be E. So this
v,
uh-huh.
va. I'm getting all the vowels wrong.
Okay, no problem. So a way to remember, actually a way to remember, one dot is always E, V, one dot. When you have 2 dots like this, 2 dots, and when you have 3 dots, it's always E.
Eh.
Yeah.
Ve. Is this next one vo?
Uh-huh, very good.
Va. Ve.
That's the va also, because it's a line.
Okay. Va. Ve.
Uh-huh,
Vav.
very good.
Vim.
Uh-huh,
Vam.
very good. Okay, excellent. Okay. I think there was Caroline. Am I saying the right word?
Yes.
Okay. I mean the right name, not the right word. Sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, Vered,
Uh-huh.
Voltaire,
Okay.
Varro,
Very good.
Varrob,
Uh-huh.
Ravar.
That's a dalet. That's a dalet. Uh-huh.
Tavom,
It's one dot, so it will be,
Kavin.
very good.
Gava.
So this
Nava.
is that's a noon, yes. So it will be
Naam.
Nave and Naam. Okay. And Jim, number 3.
Okay, let's see. Va'ani,
Mm-hmm.
ve'ata, see, ve'atavta,
Vahafta.
ve'hafta, ve'hafta. Vetoda.
No, that's a race. So it will be what?
Oh, Vitora.
Mm-hmm.
And Vetibarat.
Okay, so this one, remember, that will be the ve, right? Ve, D. Now, this would be silent right here. So,
Okay.
so how would you do that one?
Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Vedibarta.
Aha, Vedibarta. Very good.
Vedibarta.
Okay, and Philip, line 4.
Any. That's silent. So it would be Vata.
Vata.
Vata. Misha. Mishane.
Very good.
Et.
Very good.
Vene. Ta.
Man. Man.
Man. Sorry. Man. Veno.
And this would be silent.
Venotan. Venot.
Nim.
Neem, yeah.
Venotunim. Okay, very, very good. Okay, so Martine. All right, this word right here, the first one.
Ve, she.
And this would be silent.
Veshin, tav, tam. Veshin tam.
No, the she. What about this right here?
Veshinam tam.
Exactly. Veshinantam. And that's the word that I told you to teach, learn, repeat, reiterate, rehearse. Veshinantam. Okay, very good.
So advarim.
Very good.
Alet.
Aele.
Aele. Ael. Va'ani.
Very good. Okay. So we can continue. Let me just erase. All right. So this letter, whoops, something just happened here for me. What's going on here? Oh, can you still see me sharing my?
Yes.
Okay, because something just happened to my. Okay. I clicked on something mistakenly. So this is the letter tet and the letter tav. So tet is both of them are T sound, but remember I told you Sephardic Jews calls this as ta and this is ta. Ashkenazi Jews though refer to this as ta, but this one sometimes is like sa, like they say Shabbos, right? Don't they say Shabbos rather than Shabbat? They say Shabbos. Okay. So Carolyn, line 1.
Ta, to, ta, te, te, bi, te, ba, ta, ta,
So 5 dots is also a, so that would be
te,
and te.
te.
Okay. And Courtney, number 2.
Tau. Tov. Tala.
Ta. So the 3 dots is a.
Tale. Tali. Or no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tira. Be. Bemaram.
That's a tet, so beterem.
Beterem.
Okay, the words here, we have the word Courtney. What's this word? Tov, which means good. Tov is good. So remember when we say Boker Tov,
Mazel
it's,
tov.
yeah, it's good morning. Sorry, it's morning good. It's kind of switched around. So in English, we say good morning. In Hebrew, we say morning good. So Boker Tov, the Tov is the good. Now, this is the holiday of Tu B'Shvat.
Diva, Dina.
Yeah,
So when we say mazel, what does mazel means?
what's that?
For mazel tov.
Mazel means what's that or what's this?
So, but if you say mazel tov, then it has
Oh,
to be
Mazal Tov is fortune good. That's the
fortune.
literal translation. Fortune good. Now, if you translate it into English, you say good fortune, right? Yeah. But in Hebrew, it's the fortune and then the good. All right, this holiday called Tu B'Shvat. Do you know what Tu B'Shvat is about? What's this holiday?
Isn't it the new year for trees?
Yes, very good. I can do it here. All right, I'll do it next time when I have, teach you that next time. And what's this word right here?
Talit.
And do you know what is the talit?
Prayer shawl.
Prayer shawl. Very good. Okay, this is the letter Ain. So this is A and this is A, right? So Philip, line 1.
E. A. Ah. O. al,
Mhm.
ol, olam.
Martine, number 2.
Excuse me. Ana,
Mhm.
am,
Mhm.
av,
Very good.
anam, anan,
Very good.
er,
Ed, that's a dalet.
et,
Uh-huh.
diman.
No, this one right here.
The last one is da,
No, it's a resh.
also ra, raedman,
No, Ra'ashan.
Ra'ashan. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And Jim, line 2.
Okay. Oh, did we just do line 2?
Sorry, 3.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Reva,
Mm-hmm.
Ra,
Mm-hmm.
Rasha, Ra'ash, Ra'im, and let's see, Ru'eh.
Okay, very good.
Ru'eh. Mhm.
All right, Carolyn, line 4.
Roim,
Mhm.
Mayam,
Me'at. Uh-huh.
Mayat, Arom,
So one dot is E, so it would be uh-huh.
Arim, Ayover,
Over.
Over,
Mm-hmm.
Ear,
Mm-hmm.
Atida,
And what is this letter here?
the T.
No, it's a mem.
Oh,
Look at
that's
that.
mem.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's open on the top. Okay. Amida.
Okay, very, very good. Look at the difference. I know a lot of people actually confuse the mem and the tet. So look at the mem right here and look at the tet. Can you see the difference? I know that sometimes it's confusing. Mem and tet. And if I were to write the mem and the tet, so this is how I would write mem. I would write it more like a triangle. That's a mem. And the tet would be more something like this. Oops, not good. The tet would be more, I would do a line like this, like this, like this, and like this. It's more like, can you tell the difference between them? It's a little bit different. Okay, the other thing you need to look at, which is a new thing, a new rule, if there is a yud at the end, then it's not just it's I. So this is I, and this is I. Do you see that? The I, that combination becomes I. So was it Courtney or Carolyn that read line 4?
It was me, Caroline.
Okay, so Courtney, read line 5. Courtney, are you there?
Or Caroline.
Sorry, I'm talking with my mic not unmuted. Raboti.
So it would be I at the end. So it would be Rabotai.
Tai.
Rabotai.
Alive.
Mm-hmm.
Sha. Now I'm spacing this consonant. What? This is still a dalet even with the dot. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
Sha dai.
Very good.
Lo. Ha I.
Elohai.
Elohai.
So the 5 dots is also eh.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk about this next time. Just erase them. Okay, you guys can practice these pages on your own. So we're going to start with 3 letters. Kaf, which is a K, kaf, has the K sound. The chaf, which is a ch, and the final chaf. So far we learned the final mem and the final nun. Now we're learning another final letter. So the final chaf appears normally in 2 ways. It will appear with 2 dots in here, and the 2 dots will make it as ch, ch. Or it will appear like this with the T, and it will be cha. These are the only 2 ways that the final chaf will appear, either ch or cha. Now, in Hebrew, the kaf is 1 letter. Remember, I told you about this. Hebrew, we have only 22 letters. But when we teach Hebrew to Americans or foreigners, we take that 1 letter and we break it down into 3. The kaf, the chaf, and the final chaf. I mean, in Israel, not in Hebrew. In Israel, it's the one letter. This is how we learn it in Israel, as 1 letter. And we have the yud, which is like the Y sound. Yud is the Y sound. The vowel that we are learning here is the vowel U. The vowel U has 2 ways of looking. It's the U like this and the U like this. They're both U and U. Now, when we talk about vocalization, the rules of the vowels, there is a reason why sometimes we use this U vowel, and there is a reason why we use this U vowel. So, but these are lots and lots and lots of rules, and it's not really important for you to know when it is like this and when it is not like that. What's important is that when you read something, that you would know that this is an U and this is an U. Okay, the other thing, I think I missed it, 1 second, that I want to talk about. I don't know if I missed it before. Okay, yeah, I do want to talk about that. I think I missed it before. This vowel is eh. When I add the yud, is a. Now, in here, Ashkenazi Jews call this an A and this an A. I don't. Because for me, this is an E and this is an A. And I'll tell you why. So in Hebrew, in Israel, let's say if I take the word bet, the letter bet, right? And I put two dots here, like this, that's an E, be. If I put the three dots, it's still a be. Hasn't changed for me, it's still the same. If I take the bet and I put the two dots like this, with the yud, for me it becomes bay. Bay. Now, there is all this discussion. I always go back, like in the synagogue, I talk to everybody about it. They always tell me, well, do you say it as a bay or not? Like this one, do you say this as an bay also? And I always say no. I refer to this as a be, and this is a bay. And the reason for me is this. Because in Hebrew, they mean two different things. If I put the final nun here, and I put ben, that would be ben. That word ben means son, ben. If I put the final nun here, it's bain, and it means between. Now imagine if I refer to a son and I say bain, and if I refer to between, I say bain. The correct pronunciation of son is ben, not bain. We don't say bain. We refer to it as ben. See what I'm saying? So to me, that's why I personally refer to this as e, and this is a. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to stop here. I just want to tell you, if you can spend some time working on the reading of everything and look at also these this new lesson, and tell me if that's okay. I know that Hanukkah is going to be the end of the month, and I was thinking of maybe not necessarily teaching you about the history of Hanukkah, or maybe you know or you don't know, but I was thinking that maybe we'll review the blessings for Hanukkah, if that's okay with you. Yeah, okay. So and the singing for it. So do you guys want to do it next week and review it the following week, or do you just want to do it one time, the 21st?
We can do it twice.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I'll review it next week also.
But sorry, I just spoke. Maybe the others have another opinion.
Twice or once?
Either way, for me.
Okay.
That's good with me.
I'm fine with either one.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So because we do have some more lessons. At first, I thought that maybe we have two more lessons. So I think we should be able to finish everything as far as knowing all the letters and the vowels. Okay. All right. And I will see you guys next Sunday. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.